I was born deaf. I was born in 1954. People were unable to diagnose that I had Usher syndrome. The sight loss part of it, which happened in my teens, I had been losing patches of my field of vision, which meant that I bumped into things, I tripped over things, I couldn't see that well in low light. Because my behaviour changed, they didn't diagnose that I had any sight loss, more that I had a mental health need. This meant that I had developed anxiety, I experienced panic attacks, and none of that was ever connected to any sight loss. I did end up with severe depression. It was when I realised I could no longer see to lip read, that I could no longer recognise people's faces, and I kind of withdrew. It was about the impact it had on my everyday life and how was I going to live, how was I going to manage, all those things going around in my head and nobody to talk to. I was always the only deaf child at school. They didn't like the fact that I was deaf. I was told that I would never amount to anything. But when I was 16, I was one of 5 students in my year that got through to the auditions at the Royal Ballet School. I don't know what it is like to hear music, but in a dance studio where you have sprung floorboards, you can feel the vibration of the piano. I could get lost in my dancing. They were very aware that my deafness impacted, and they always spoke more about my deafness, but it was quite clear that I could dance. I was broken-hearted when I gave up, but it was an amazing experience. Live your dream for as long as you can. The biggest thing is the lack of support for deafblind people. You feel as though you're more than one person, that you are the person who happens to be deafblind. You are the person that happens to not feel worthy, have very low self-esteem, have very low confidence. I was afraid to go out. There was a trigger for me not wanting to go out in that my second guide dog was very badly attacked by another dog. My guide dog had to be retired. The freedom that I had was just suddenly taken away. People didn't really understand what that meant when you had worked so hard toward remaining independent, and then suddenly it's all taken away from you. So I felt as though I had to start again, and I did start again. And the best part was when I was assessed as leading a communicator guide. And very, very slowly, my life came back into focus with the help of Marion and people like Marion, who are communicator guides, who give deafblind people the access to the world that we actually need. As a deafblind person, we don't fit into the deaf mainstream services or the blind mainstream services. Without Deafblind UK, it would have been horrendous. They understand about deafblindness, and I think Deafblind UK gives us the confidence and the encouragement to actually tell the world about our achievements. Because Deafblind UK has been a constant in my life, I'm able to live my life in the way that I do. Only in the last 5 years or so, I actually feel as though I'm a lot better than what I was. I've always been a positive person, but the best thing for me is having that support of a communicator guide, knowing that there's an organisation like Deafblind UK. My happiness is having my guide dog Polly and my communicator guide being able to have the choice and control and being able to make decisions. So I'm in a really good place.